Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me once again. And sorry it's taken me so long to put out another video. I just got back from vacation with some friends and family. And what the hell did you do to your face? You know what? You're the one that constantly told me that I needed to do something with my beard, and I did. So what do you want from me? You know what? You're right. Maybe you just naturally look like an idiot. Anyway, here's the Spider-Man review. Spider-Man Far From Home is the second standalone Spider-Man film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we follow Peter Parker after the events of Avengers Endgame as he's trying to move on past the death of Tony Stark. And people are constantly asking him what's coming next for the Avengers. Is he going to be leading the Avengers now? And so he goes on a school trip to Europe. But while all of this is happening, Mysterio shows up, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. And there are these creatures known as the Elementals, and they are trying to stop them. And that is the plot of our movie. Jesus Christ, you're getting rusty. Has it really been that long? You know what? Just let me do my thing over here, okay? You stay over there, I'll do this. This is what I do. So I never got around to doing a review for the first Spider-Man film, Homecoming, because by the time I actually saw it, a review for it would have been pointless because it had already been out for so long. But just my brief thoughts on it, I did like it a lot. I thought Michael Keaton was a great villain. He was very relatable in his motivations for what he was doing. And I think Tom Holland is a fantastic Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And here in this one, Tom Holland is fantastic again. And for a good portion of this film, probably like the first half maybe even, this is very much like a high school comedy with some Spider-Man stuff thrown in. It's really like the last half of it that you really get like your Spider-Man action. Because Peter's main motivation here in this, aside from the superhero stuff, is he wants to tell MJ, played by Zendaya, how he feels about her. And I know some people, whenever in Homecoming, at the very end, when she was like, oh, and people call me MJ, people were like, what? Hashtag not my MJ. But she's fine. Like, I don't see the problem. She's very much different than the original Mary Jane. She's very, like, quiet and reserved and weird and kind of morbid. But, you know, it's just a different take on the character, and I actually really enjoy what Zendaya is doing with Mary Jane. And through the whole thing, the dynamic between Peter and MJ, I liked a whole lot. They were very awkward and very, you know, just weird around each other. And it seemed very authentic. It seemed like these were actually like awkward teenage encounters with someone that they had a crush on. Another thing about this film is that it is very funny, and I don't know exactly when it was that Marvel decided that they are just going to be comedies now. It was probably around the first Guardians of the Galaxy, but this is a straight up comedy. That's pretty much what they are now. But it is very funny. Some parts of it seemed like they were trying to put in jokes just for the sake of putting in jokes, and some of them kind of fell flat. But for the most part, Peter and his dynamic with Mary Jane was funny. Peter with Happy was really funny. And there's this dynamic between Happy and Aunt May, and that got a laugh out of me every time it was brought up. But the thing that I was most excited for in this film was Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. Because while Mysterio himself, I know what he does, I know what his abilities are. I know what he can do. I don't know a lot about the character as a whole, but Jake Gyllenhaal is an actor that I am a massive fan of. Almost everything that I have seen him in, I have loved. And so I was really excited to see him bring this character that I know to be very cool to life in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And his dynamic with Peter was also very touching. It was almost as if Peter, having lost, two father figures, we never saw Uncle Ben in these, but we know about him. So after losing Uncle Ben and then Tony Stark, but then, Mysterio coming in, whose real name is Quentin Beck, he starts to kind of form a relationship like that with Peter. And Jake Gyllenhaal just has a charisma that makes everything he does enjoyable to watch. So I really loved him in this movie. Alright, I just have to say it. You've brought up the death of Tony Stark twice now, with not even so much as the common courtesy to give a spoiler warning. Avengers Endgame is the second highest grossing film of all time. If anybody has a problem with me saying that, then it's their fault for not seeing it. Probably the thing about this film that is going to have the biggest impact on the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is something that I cannot talk about, because it's like things happen right at the very end of the film with 2 post-credit scenes, and both of them are actually important. Like, usually the end-credit scenes, like, one of them is like a joke. Like in Captain Marvel, there was one of just a cat vomiting. But both of these end-credit scenes say a lot, and one of them in particular. So, if you're the type of, Marvel fan that typically just, for some reason, doesn't stay for the end-credit scenes, you need to, because they are very important. And I really don't have any issues with this film at all. I enjoyed just about every minute of it. So, with that being said, Spider-Man Far From Home gets an A. Have you guys seen Spider-Man Far From Home yet? If you have, let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. Or, what is your favorite Spider-Man movie, starting with the Sam Raimi ones with Tobey Maguire until now? Whatever it is, let me know. Go ahead and check out my social media. The links to all of that will be down in the description. And then don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe so that I can see you guys next time.
Okay, I'm not gonna look at you. How about that?
How about that? Wow, that's dated.
That's very dated.
Yeah.
It bugs me. She's still relevant, though.
I know.
I'm like,
Why?
why?
Why?